Here's our full conversation with Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell about their new game show and more. Shepard and Bell will host Family Game Fight on NBC. The show's executive produced by Ellen DeGeneres. And as they told our Erin Jensen, Ellen also helped inspire the show's creation.
So Family Game Fight, of course, is the first TV project you're working on together. What is it about this show that made you want to be a part of it?
We were guests on Ellen a few years back, and they made us play this game called Taste Buds, where I had to taste stuff blindfolded, she was blindfolded, and then we had to describe it to each other and pick the right thing.
Sour cream and cheddar.
They look like fingers!
Cheez-Its, I said Cheez-Its.
And it turned into the biggest
Disaster.
blow-up, frustrating couples fight caught on TV.
It was awful, but we very quickly, as storytellers, recognized that was awful for us, but that was really good content.
Everyone enjoyed watching that fight unfold.
Fun to watch. So why not harness it and figure out how to let people watch it a little more if it makes people laugh?
Yeah, I mean, what's going through my mind right now is Kristen, you screaming eucalyptus or shaped like fingers, shaped like fingers. So.
I do stand by that because there's only one chip shaped like a finger, and I will forever be disappointed.
And I stand by the fact that there are no chips shaped like fingers, but agree to disagree.
And are you guys fans of games or game shows? Are you having your own family game nights at your house?
I got to credit Kristen to opening the world of gaming up to me. When we met, she was like, I have a standing running charades game every Saturday. There's like 25 people. People do go to the hospital afterwards. Just, that's part of my life.
It was full contact. So we'd had a broken nose. We'd had a sprained wrist.
Thrown some backs out.
Yeah.
But we are gamers. We either we went through a crazy Settlers of Catan phase that ended a lot of interpersonal relationships, and then we now we play spades compulsively. We probably play spades 25 hours a week. Any free time we have, we're playing spades. So yes, we love games. We're really competitive, and it's fun because we get to do both on the show. We get to compete against each other as we help these other teams compete for $100,000, but also we get to come together at the end to win a bunch of money for them, and that is the highlight of the day for us, right?
Yeah.
Because Kristen is good, and we have Lane.
Yeah, we have Lane. We know. Well, that's what's the fun part about doing it with your partner is that when you can recognize what your partner's strengths are and pass the ball to win money for a family that you've fallen in love with over the course of the show, it's just really fun.
And that was going to be one of my questions. How do you think being in a relationship and being together for so long benefits you as hosts and contestants?
Well, I think the main thing, we were just talking about this on the podcast, which is I think it's rare that people in a marriage get to benefit from their partner's genius. They don't go to work with them and watch them, compute a spreadsheet in 20 seconds and it saves their day. But in this situation, she has an incredible skill set that as the co-host, I benefit from all day long. All day long, I keep looking at my wife going oh my God, this is the best teammate I could have in this situation. She's the most competent person. So for us, it's kind of rare. At home, it's not like either of us are head over heels about each other's skill set at home.
Right. I'm not you did the dishes so well tonight. You don't recognize it when you're in a domestic setting as much as you do in a work setting. So for us, even though there's a lot of theories on whether or not you should work with your partner, for us, it works really great because we have a common goal, which is to make the show really fun. And we do have a trust because we're married. We have to have that. And so to see, him thrive and for me to be able to lean on him or him lean on me, it's just, the whole thing is fun.
Yeah. The thing I'll add to that is that we're so good. If we were just hosting this with another person, we're so good at reading each other, when mama's a little tired or papa's a little tired, and the other one can really pick up in those moments where I don't know you would have that in a normal co-host situation.
And then you leave going, oh, you saw that I was tired, up all the slack during that last episode, and then you just sort of leave work with your head on his shoulder, and it just feels really nice.
With your head hung low, which conventionally is not positive, but in this case it's positive.
In this case, it's positive, yeah.
Oh, I hope the men from my dating apps, I hope I have that someday. Were you guys involved in creating the games?
So yeah, some of them. There's like 12 or 15 games. There's a lot of games. So we were not in the think tank for the majority of them. But yes, we very much wanted to do taste budsy type stuff where we're having to feed each other clues and build frustration.
Yeah, so we built these games like the game that you'll see right after the Olympics to start the show, or what you'll normally see mid-show. We're basically blindfolded and we have to describe something to the other person, which is why taste buds work so well. This one isn't food, but it's describing items, and it goes off the rails every time.
Yeah, Kristen starts every single clue with either, you love this, you hate this.
I think it's an important piece of context because then you're immediately eliminating 50% of the things in the world.
That's amazing.
Well, what about the stuff I feel ambivalent about?
You don't feel ambivalent about anything.
Oh, okay. That's pretty legit.
And Ellen DeGeneres is an executive producer, and she hosts Ellen's Game of Games, of course, in addition to her talk show. Did she have any advice for you guys hosting the show as a couple?
Sadly, we did not get any advice on hosting as a couple. But in her defense, I don't think she's done any couple hosting.
Right. No, we were just winging it.
Yeah.
Absolutely winging it.
That's right.
And what type of competitors would you say that you guys are?
Intense.
Well, I think it's like a tornado. So a tornado comes through. It gets real hot and muggy. The light augments. It's yellow for a minute, and then it's over. And it's just like the prettiest summer day you've ever seen. So I think in the afterglow of these battles, we're very supportive.
Yeah, we fight like a tornado.
It's a weird thing. Like I want to win, and then the second I win, I feel terrible. I won, and vice versa, which is the codependent's wet dream.
Yeah.
Well, so it's good then that you guys get to come together at the end as teammates.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And reassure each other.
And I've seen a couple of episodes. Have your kids seen the show? Is this something you're going to watch as a family?
We had a rehearsal day, brought them to set thinking, oh, they'll love this. It's messy. There's pies, blah, blah. But I think as we were involved, they were like, all right, is there another stage on this lot we can go look at something that might be more of our interest?
Yeah, like anything with your parents is just uncool. Like in your DNA, you're not supposed to like anything your parents do.
No.
So we thought this was going to be, there's like a spinning stage and there's big costumes and lights and fun props. And they were like,
okay.
Huh.
Let's go grab something to eat.
Where are the snacks?
And Kristen, you joked on social media that the show might have led us into another year of couples therapy, but it was worth it. Has anything from the show bled over into couples therapy, or do you guys leave it all on the stage?
This is that was a question for you. I'm sorry.
No.
I was just going to say, no, working together is always the easiest part
100%.
of our relationship, for sure. Parenting and compromising is hard. Compromising on dinner is hard. Anything for us. We're both so stubborn and opinionated that the most menial thing for us can mean the world. Like the saying in our house would be like, is there a hill we won't die on? Not is this the hill we should die on? Is there a single hill we won't die on?
Like the recliners are things like that, of course, that we're.
Stuff most people would just really overlook, not for us.
Obviously, you can see he died on the hill because we still got it.
Yeah.
And you're reaping the benefits. That you look very comfy.
Thank you.
As it turns out that the other person's often right.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But nothing we make a lot of jokes in a sincere attempt to normalize people communicating, and that arguing is okay. You just got to be respectful. Couples therapy is awesome. Use it if you need it, or even if you don't need it. So we do make a lot of jokes about that we'll need way more after this. But the truth is we don't really take it home. We like working together.
Yeah.
And I was watching the episodes, I think, because what I had read, it was more of like a throwdown between you guys. I kind of expected more trash talking, but you guys are so cute and flirty and supportive. Like it's precious. It's so precious.
Yeah, I think you can go to war with one another without the war paint per se. Like we definitely, I love to compete, but I'm also always rooting for Kristen. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything about your spouse during this?
I didn't learn anything as much as I get reconfirmed when I get to work with Kristen, just what a pro she is.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. It's certainly something I knew, that Dax is the greatest safety net you could have next to you on any stage or in front of any camera.
That's amazing. And, did you guys learn anything about yourselves during the experience?
Yeah, I as it turns out, I don't like having ice water dumped on my head 18 times. I thought, yeah, that's fine 18 times. It was not fine 18. In fact, after 3 times, you're like, this is a bad game. Let's never play this again.
It was a lot of them are really, really bad games. They're torture games. They're mean games. They're not nice games. But we got through it. You did lose your voice a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have the operatic training or singing live history that Kristen does. So yeah, day one, I just treated it like a sprint. And then by the middle of the afternoon, I was like, I think my voice on its way out, but it recovered nicely the next day. Yeah.
I want to go back to, I think you're alluding to brain freeze for a second, because that would be hands down my least favorite game, having, ice or snow shoved down your back. Is that your least favorite game? Is there another one that's your least favorite?
It was a unique brand of torture, because there's not just getting, first of all, we build that stage. It's a very complicated stage. So we run a bunch of families through it at once, which means we do it back to back. Also, between every game, we've got to go get hair and makeup, new clothes, dried off.
Because we're switching episodes and then we shoot. So we're doing one family, all the ice dumped on. Then we run up 2 flights of stairs to the green room. We blow dry our hair, quickly wipe off our face, change our clothes, run back downstairs and shoot the second episode, because it's such an intense set to build. We can only do it once. So
it's kind of like the decathlon. On the topic of the Olympics, there's events within the events. Really, for the getting changed and dried in the time frame was as bad as getting the ice.
There's 2 people with hair dryers pointed at you. You're taking off wet socks.
Everyone's waiting on you.
Yeah, and which is a horrible feeling in the TV industry, when you're the one.
Show business.
It sucks, but it's not the worst job in the world. It just.
Did anything else surprise you about this experience?
Yeah, just the what do I want to say? The endurance. It's a game of endurance.
It is. I think that we're both in our 40s, and we were like, we can host a game show. What a cute job. And then as it turns out, you have to warm up your body before you play, not just for the games, which are very physical, but also to run up those 2 flights of stairs.
And here's the problem too. You fall in love with these families. You're spending a bunch of time with them. You really want them to win. And now it's heartbreaking. And now you're fighting for them. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening. Chris and I have been at this for a minute, 20 years apiece. And after the very first day of filming, we got home and I said, I don't want to be reckless with this statement, but I think that's the hardest day in show business I've ever had. And she was like, oh my God, me too.
It was the hardest thing to shoot, between the emotional tension of wanting to root for the families. And again, you're falling in love with 5 people. You're getting to know them. There's a lot of money on the line for them. You want to do well. There's your partner, which you have to maintain that you're going to be married after the show. So you have to juggle that ball. Then there's the endurance factor. Then there's also
childcare. As it goes longer and longer than was predicted.
Yeah, when you're home at 1 a.m. and texting the babysitter, just to be a half an hour more. And then, to say nothing of the endurance that you didn't expect. So it was a lot. But
it was also a fever dream acid trip. That it was so fun in the midst of all of that exertion.
That's true.
Yeah. We want to do it again. That's what's. I don't know if we're crazy or the game's that good. I don't know. But yeah, we were both like, yeah, I'd love to do that again.
That's amazing. And during the show, I think fans will be excited because when you are giving each other clues, you're kind of sharing these little tidbits about your lives, like how popular, cracker nachos or crachos are in your house. And, of course, we recently learned via Instagram, we were invited to your bathroom for a little toilet paper issue happening. And then, of course, you guys are open about even more serious topics like sobriety or couples therapy. Talk to me about your decision to be so honest with the public.
I don't believe that it was something that got motivated out of a mission of ours. It more got motivated out of our fear that people were seeing us in commercials and hashtagging couples goals. And genuinely, we thought like, well, we're misleading all these people if they think we met each other and it's been a perfect, easy fit, like in a movie, because it really hasn't. And I would want everyone to have the marriage I have, but also I would want to be honest about the fact that it takes you got to work it like a job. I mean, you got to think it's as important to nurture as anything else.
But it was
working out. I dedicate an hour a day to my working out to stay physically fit. I need to dedicate that much thoughtfulness to a marriage or they don't work.
And it really did come out of that idea of we felt like we were being inauthentic, and authenticity I think is really important to both of us. So to think that there were people looking at us going, oh, I just have to find my Dax, was like, well, we kind of got to set the record straight here and be like, no, these two people are very difficult on their own.
Finding them is the very easy part.
But it is worth it. It's just like working out or making a really great big meal. Like it takes 5 hours, but it's going to be delicious. Like everything in life takes hard work. And so we thought, why not, pull the curtain back a little bit and start talking about the hard work.
I know you're very thoughtful about the things that you share about your kids. Other than that, does anything ever feel off limits to you? Too serious, too personal to share?
Oh yeah. Well, all kid stuff we're pretty crazy about because they haven't decided yet that they want to be like us.
Yeah, we're allowed to tell our version of the story as long as we're not exposing too much, but also not exposing them. Like no one,
Yeah, we'll talk about parenting, not what necessarily they're going through.
Right.
Just our experience with parenting. But yeah, there's totally stuff. There's stuff. I think I'm in a position where I'm making like 6 hours of content a week on the podcast, and I'm just talking. So naturally, I'm saying often more than what should be said, but there's still very much a protected layer, a sanctum around us that is our business. Yeah. We were doing press for this show and some lady said, tell us about the worst fight you've ever been in. I was like, well, no, I don't think I want to relive my worst fight with Kristen for you. Nice to meet you, though.
But we make a lot of jokes about it because it deserves to be joked about. Because if everybody's going through it in the whole wide world, there's always a funny way to look at it. So if there's marital spats being happening, you can joke about that. But like the sincerity of emotion behind some of our arguments is nobody's business because that's how we sort of take care of each other's tender hearts and keep each other safe.
And nothing as serious as your worst fight, but maybe something lighter of something we don't know about you that, maybe fans would be surprised to learn.
That'd be tough. We're like the wrong people to be surprised. Like that would be like Brad and Angie or some of these like,
Well,
they're not together anymore. That was a bad example. Who's together?
Well, don't think of the example. Think of what she asked us.
Well, she did, but I just was saying like we're pretty, and
we share everything interesting. That's the thing. Like I do all my friends' nails. That's like a cool thing. Not a lot of people know, but that's not really an interesting tidbit.
I cut hair.
Dax cuts hair. We do a lot of things like that, but it's not like worthy of sharing. Normal stuff, I guess.
You had a hard PMS this week.
I did.
Yeah.
I had
that might
a rough one.
Excite people.
Woo, it was rough.
I think, I'm speaking for myself, but yes, want to hear it. Love to hear it. I had an appointment to do like a bar class with my friend and it was her first day. And I was like, do you want to do it? We could bail. Like we could totally bail, but
Because your body's just like, leave me alone, leave me alone.
No, go in a
this-
corner, eat your weight in chocolate. Like just sit there.
Yes, girl, yes.
Well, this morning I was looking at Instagram and I saw Zazie Beetz. I'm a huge fan of Zazie Beetz for numerous reasons. And she had a recipe of her menstrual cycle tea she makes. And she says quite often if she uses that, she doesn't need to use any painkillers. And I thought, I'll pass this on to Belle.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah. I wouldn't have normally clicked on her PMS cure all had we just not had the...
Because I was so like down and out yesterday.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
This is what people need. I've talked to 2 boys about like, maybe I want to freeze my eggs, and they're so uncomfortable. They just go, okay. So I love what we're doing here. I love what we're normalizing here.
I'll probably be in some kind of workman's comp situation with Monica because I've basically strong-armed her into letting Armchair pay to have her eggs frozen, like Netflix does.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I know we are running short on time. Is there anything else you think that I should know about Family Game Fight? Anything else you have going on, or just anything you wish you would have been asked or wanted to talk about?
You didn't ask how I got so jacked, but that's fine. We can do that another. That could be all other.
She knows it's lifting weights. That's the thing. Again,
that's
like
right.
not an
I guess
interesting
you're
answer.
right.
She's
6
not going
days a
to.
week. I've already read about it. You're lifting 6 days a week. You said Marvel hasn't called me to motivate me. I'm doing it on my own. We're doing it.
Don't challenge
I'm not
a good journalist.
I'm not challenging.
She knows the
I will ask one question. When you say this isn't interesting to share, how do you know what's interesting to share? Like, do you ask people? Is there like just a filter, like just knowing? How do you know what's interesting to share?
If it makes either of us laugh. Like, I think the barometer has to be, if you're someone who makes anything, is like knowing what you think is funny and then committing to that. And often you're wrong, but I think that's what a point of view in comedy is. So if like it cracked Kristen up, she'll post it and vice versa.
And for me, it's do I want more details?
Ooh, okay.
Like does it end in a question mark? Like, you know, the fact that Dax cuts hair, I guess you could say we might want a couple more details, but I always post when the girls, you know, punk us around our house with this skeleton guy, because it's so odd and weird to come out and find him like sitting at the piano, or sometimes they set him up at the stove. If I don't wake her up early enough to make them breakfast, they'll put him at the stove in an apron. Like you know, this Mr. Bones thing that they're doing to us. So I guess it's always, do you want more questions answered? And then I'm like, that's probably something good to share.
Okay, last question, I promise. Speaking of bones, when you talked about your very intense charade games, had you broken any bones? Were you one of the persons that sustained injuries?
No, and thank God, because I was like the boss. And so I was barking orders at everybody about how to stay safe, but it was, and everybody knew it, full contact.
That's interesting. I'm now remembering that was as you know, I've shared it with you. The first time I thought I might be in love with Kristen is when I was watching her tell everyone the rules of charades at her house. And she turned from America's sweetheart to just a drill sergeant, like, you know, the worst from Platoon or any of these war movies. All of a sudden she was just screaming, you'll do that. If anyone does, I don't want to say, oh, here's my clue. It's
Don't fold your paper. It was about not folding. People are folding their papers. It took too long to unwrap them. Have the clue open in front of you.
And I just was like, what is this 5'1" hurricane all about? And where did this side of her personality come from? It was very intriguing.
But I didn't sustain any injuries, but we did have Laura broke her nose one time. Tom hurt his back.
Yeah, what's his name?
Ian broke his wrist. Yeah.
Because full contact charades is what exactly? What does that mean?
So
you're separated in 2 different rooms, and the clue giver's in a third room sitting in a chair. And as the teams run in to get their clue, quite often they're there at the same time. So if you can throw someone into a cabinet and get in front of the chair first, you're going to get your clue first.
Got it. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. I've seriously enjoyed our chat, and you know, I wish you guys good luck with the show, and thank you for everything.
Thank you. That was a highly pleasant interview.